My video for April the 1st, 2019 is video number 3042. The title is, Will the April Fools Please Stand Up? The first day of April is commonly referred to as April Fool's Day. We've all been fooled about many things, including me. None of us know the whole truth and nothing but the truth, perhaps God notwithstanding. I wish God did have some standing on this planet that all too often seems godforsaken to me. Nevertheless, we do have more than enough fools to go around. We're all influenced in one way or another by the foolishness of what many choose to believe. We have the testimony of many who see themselves as true believers. I get such testimony fairly often on more than one subject. The flat earth religion seems to be very evangelical these days, as they try to convince us all that we live on a manner of dome-shaped plate. Just as it is a virtually useless task of trying to convince someone that they have been misled, I find myself having to simply end the dialogue. That's not a choice I would like to make, yet I see no viable alternative. I'm not foolish enough to engage in some head-butting that can only produce headaches at best. Quote, "And all we need is love," the Beatles song. Love and peace, baby. They will appeal to our longing for love and peace, Ron. And the coming faked ET disclosure by the Vatican and the universal recognition of our creators, the ETs, will set the stage for this coming love and peace one world religion. The Pope is advertising for it right now, Ron, and you're going to take the bait. Hook, line, and sinker, Ron. What a fool. See Matthew 5:22. By the way, that came from an actual person who's been dialoguing with me and always throws in the flat earth stuff. Some of his stuff I agree with, but then he goes off on this flat earth tangent. Anyway, here's the Bible verse that I made reference to. And this is the King James Version, Matthew 5:22. But I say unto you that whosoever is angry with his brother without a cause shall be in danger of the judgment. And whosoever shall say to his brother, Raka, shall be in danger of the council. But whosoever shall say, you fool, shall be in danger of hellfire. End quote. Now, quite honestly, I didn't know what Raka meant. It's a derogatory expression that means stupid or empty-headed. Well, I look at myself now and I wonder how stupid I've been for reading the Bible so many times and not seeing the glaring contradictions. Of course, I was taught that there were no contradictions. So I had a mental block that kept me from seeing what is obvious to anyone who doesn't have that mental block. You know, it's crazy, this world that we live in, and it's even crazier when people argue over the shape of the earth is one thing, but over which religion is right. And they never talk about the thing that is common to all religions, which is to love one another. And, you know, all we need is love, the Beatles, John Lennon. Well, yeah, all we need is love. But what is love? Is not love listening to the other side of the story? But you can listen to the other side of the story, and as long as you can keep from the conversation degenerating into an argument, you might get somewhere. I belong to some groups that allow for open discussion. As soon as the discussion becomes, you fool, you're crazy for believing that, the conversation breaks down. And then we get April Fool's Day. And we've all been fooled, as I said in the blurb. We've all been deceived. And of course, I've talked in the past about my program that was on in WTTC in Towanda for a long time called Be Not Deceived. I wrote poems about deception. I've had many videos where I've talked about the deception. And it's obvious to me that we live on a planet that deceivers have basically risen to the top of the political and economic structure, and yes, the religious structure. I am not buying into the Pope. According to some testimony, this Pope is the last one, or perhaps the next one is the last one, because there's no more room on the Vatican wall or whatever it is where they put the pictures of all the or images, whatever, of all the various popes. Well, there's only going to be at most one more pope, or this one was the last one, and this was the Jesuit pope. Now, I don't know which of those is true as far as it being the last one, whether this was or the next one will be. I'm not exactly sure, but there's not much more space. And we're running out of time and space as far as the Piscean age goes, and hopefully moving into the age of Aquarius, where we're going to see truth at last and be able to rise out of our foolhardiness of butting heads and fighting over the shape of the earth, or which religion is right, or what food is right or wrong to eat, or all the other things that we use to divide ourselves into caste systems of true believers and unbelievers. You know, that whole game, that whole scenario is pure insanity. All of us are wrong. And yet all of us have a right to be wrong. We can believe whatever we want to believe. And we don't even need to realize that in English, lie is in the middle of believing anything, because everything has been infiltrated with lies. Lies have been mixed in so that the truth becomes almost indiscernible. You can't figure out what is right and what is wrong. But love, if we could really love and listen and respect each other enough to actually have a level-headed dialogue where we weren't accusing the other person of anything, not saying, you fool, for believing that. That's, I don't know that we're in danger of the hellfire for doing that, but it's certainly very narrow-minded. And narrow-mindedness is the malady that has overtaken humanity for eons. We need to broaden our horizons, shift our perspective to a universal perspective, where we see that all forms of life have viable reason for being, and all of them ultimately, if there is any justice at all, are going to be held accountable for the choices they make, whether good or bad. I believe that's true. I don't believe, I was at a meeting earlier today that there was a lecture on karma, among other things. And one of the things that was said is we come back, we start out as lesser forms of life and evolve into higher forms of life. Well, I don't believe that. I believe humanity is an individual creation, and humans never were animals and never will be animals. Do I believe that humans are going to be judged for the things that we do and the things that we've done over many lifetimes, apparently, under different identities, names? I don't know. I used to think I knew. I'm not sure anymore. I'm an explorer. I'm trying to figure out how to make peace in a world that there is no peace. I'm trying to figure out how to not be foolish enough to swallow hook, line, and sinker that makes me believe I'm more special than somebody else. I'm not. Neither are you. We're all searching. We're all seeking for answers that will set us on a course that will heal the wounds that we've suffered over many lifetimes, apparently, and certainly many millennia and many worlds. Thank you, folks, for listening, and I hope you're not going to be another fool. Thank you. Namaste.